Previously on the Wrestling Nerd broadcast.
But what we just witnessed with what my sister is now doing to this broadcast, to Nick last week and Ryan this week, as you can see, he is emotionally distraught. And I'm not going to stand for this. So I invite the Magnificent Margaret to come on to the NRD, the Wrestling Nerd broadcast next week. Why don't you pick on somebody your own size? I've been in your face for 32 years. Why don't you come at me?
A few moments later.
Hey, Margaret, what are you doing here?
Nerd! What the heck? You're watching DCTV. Now here's your host, the voice, Dave Canning. It's you, it's me, it's DCTV. It's you, it's me, it's DCTV. Let's start the show.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is you, it is me, it is NRD, and I can't believe the MARG actually showed up to the NRD. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor this week, after accepting my challenge to come on to this show, my sister, the Magnificent Margaret.
What's up, nerds? Haters gonna hate. Hey, Dave, you're looking kind of damp.
Yeah, I know you can't see it too well in this lighting, but this shirt is very wet. I don't appreciate you coming to my house and getting me wet. I don't like being wet.
Boo-boo.
It's not nice. I'm not the only one you picked on. Right, guys?
Change?
No, my refrigerator is 100% definitely running. I checked.
Well, you better go catch it then.
I'm mad at Margaret and Dave for this. Dave, you got to talk to her.
What did I do? I didn't do anything. The only thing I'm going to do is be the king of the nerds at WrestleMania.
Mm-mm.
Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can take that briefcase. I got somewhere you could... What the heck is that?
Well, now a message from the commissioner of the Wrestling Nerd broadcast. Me, Harold, the puppet. Oh, yeah. Whoa. It's me, Harold, the puppet, the commissioner of the Wrestling Nerd broadcast. And I gotta say, there will be no more fighting, no more arguing. If you keep arguing, if you keep fighting, you're out of the WrestleMania match. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Harold the Puppet. We will all behave, okay, everyone? Truce? For this episode, truce.
First.
Margaret, show me your hands.
Fine.
Truce, okay. Now, can we get back to business? So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wrestling Nerd broadcast, episode 12, and it is our Mania Go Home show. That's right. Later this week, we will have our WrestleMania 37 predictions, in which the winner will be declared the first ever king or queen of the nerds. We will determine that at WrestleMania, like I said. And that is not the only big news that we have this week. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, because we officially have our very own Facebook page. You go to facebook.com/WNRDB. You can go ahead and give us the old thumbs up and like us on Facebook. You can go over to Twitter and follow us over there at WNRDB. And as a lot of people have been asking for this, you can now listen to the Wrestling Nerd broadcast on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Yeah, that's right. So if you're just listening to us, I hope I sound so majestic in your ear.
My shirt is awesome too. You can't see it, but it's awesome.
Yes, you can't see it, but Ryan is wearing a shirt that says "Wrestling's Not Fake." I'm wearing a shirt of Andre the Giant, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan on a basket, or on a bicycle with a little basket on it. I'm pointing at the basket. And in honor of opening day, except for every team except for Nick, he's wearing a Washington Nationals shirt and hat. and the Magnificent one is wearing a Brody Lee tribute shirt from AEW. So that's what we're wearing if you choose to listen to us rather than watch us, but we do appreciate wherever you are listening or watching to us. And that's still not the biggest news. Of course, we have the show. We have it in audio form now, but we signed a contract. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about the contract that is in Margaret's Money in the Bank briefcase. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Crossley is holding it up. We are officially joining Pro Wrestling Tees. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast. That's nerd spelled NRD. The Wrestling Nerd Broadcast has officially joined prowrestlingtees.com. I'm excited for that. I don't know about anybody else. Anybody?
Very exciting.
Yes, it is quite exciting. And that's still not it. We've got even more. But wait, there's more. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen, because in order for us to keep doing this, we need your help. We need your support, and we are going to allow you to show your support on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/WNRDB, you can support us on Patreon. And we've got some pretty cool rewards for our Patreon members. We are going to start off, so far, this is just for the beginning. We're going to have 3 different tiers to represent the 3 nerds. So you can join at $3 and be a part of Nick's Garage, and that will get your name in the credits of the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast on YouTube. For $6, you can enter Ryan's Vault and, of course, get your name in the credits. And also, we're going to hold a monthly Q&A meeting on Zoom. You can join us. We can talk about wrestling. You can ask questions about wrestling. You can ask us anything you want on the Zoom call. That is the $6 level on Ryan's Vault. And then join me in the Dave Cave for $9. You not only get your name in the credits at the end of the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast, not only do you get access to our monthly Zoom Q&A, but you can also get a cameo from your choice of either myself, Nick, or Ryan, and get a shout out, birthday wishes, congratulations, a pep talk, you name it, we'll give you a cameo. And that is over on patreon.com/WNRDB. That's right, Margaret. I'm in the wrestling business. How do you like that? Are you proud of your little brother?
Well. Yes. Yes, I know that this means a lot to you, and I'm very excited for you.
Are you going to buy our shirts?
Do I have a choice?
Nope. Because Mom will yell at you.
Are they going to come in like the soft material? Like this is one of those super soft t-shirts.
So, kayfabe, we are recording this on Thursday, and technically nothing's up yet. So hopefully by the time you watch or listen to this, there's something up. But we do have some designs. We have to submit them, but we will be having officially the Pro Wrestling Tees store and the Patreon. There's a lot of T's and I's to cross and dot in this process that we weren't expecting. I mean, we're kind of expecting it, but like, it's a lot. Like, whoop, boy. But yeah, so patreon.com/WNRDB, Pro Wrestling Tees / the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast. Shout out to Nick and Ryan for setting those 2 up, by the way. It's pretty awesome. So
I was gonna say, I think now's the time to unveil this. I mean, like I said, there's a lot going on, but
yeah, we need to get a shirt of this. Unfortunately, the problem is like, there's the 3 C's here, but Margaret's last name starts with a C too.
I can't do the 4 and the C. I'm not that.
What?
Does that work? For those of you,
what is happening?
For those of you listening,
oh my God, they have a secret handshake. It's getting worse.
Gang signs.
Oh my God.
Yes. For those of you listening, we have our new little hand symbol. It's almost like John Cena's OK thing, except you just open up your index and thumb, and you get a C. So you get the 3 C's.
This is starting to remind me of No Holds Barred, where Hulk Hogan does that weird. It's supposed to be kind of like this, but he's got like a half finger in there somewhere. He does like a weird bending. Like if you look at it, you'd see. But yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah. Oof. So yes, that's all our social media plugs. So thanks for sticking with us so far. But as we mentioned, our guest this week is the dastardly, manipulating, and maniacal prankster among pranksters, Margaret, my sister. So Margaret,
You flatterer, you.
I know. Pshaw. So the question we ask all our guests now, what makes you a nerd? What makes you a wrestling nerd, more specifically?
Oh, geez, you could answer that.
I'm going to let you do it, though. It's more fun.
Oh, you know what? I could start going all the way back to the early 90s, to the huge crush that I had on Todd Pettingill. Remember him?
Yeah, I love Todd Pettingill.
Well,
Todd in the morning.
Well, yeah, here in New York, he had a morning radio show for like 30 years. And I absolutely stand Tom Pettingill. And I know that he wasn't like the best part of wrestling, but like everybody had their wrestling crush and he was mine. I used to fantasize about him all the time as a little girl, which is kind of weird.
Gross.
I just thought he was really cute and really funny.
So you saw his return? Was that in your house pay-per-view he came back for?
Oh yes, at NXT last year, I exploded. I didn't just pop; I burst open for that. And
kind of gross, but you know that meme of Stan Marsh or Stan's dad when he's sitting at the computer. You know what I mean?
It wasn't that bad.
I'm not gonna put it up, but if you know, you know.
Oh no, ew, that's gross. But I remember we were watching Takeover and you like started before I did, Dave, and I was texting you because I started it from the beginning and you missed that part because he was pretending to do the old 90s promos for like Ico Pro and the 800 number.
Yes.
And I remember texting you, I was like, oh my God, Todd Pettingill's on this. And you were like, oh, what?
That's when I looked very disheveled and homeless. Like my hair was all over the place and my beard looked like I just come out of the woods after 6 months away.
But I needed the smelling salts for that. I was like, oh.
It's the host of Mania on Saturdays.
He's back on TV.
Yes.
But that's where it started. That's an early nerd memory was, everybody had their favorite wrestler. And meanwhile, I'm just like, where's Todd Pettingill?
Well, I'm the same way with like announcers. Like when who the heck was I thinking of? Like we've talked about like who would you want? Like we've already always thrown out the idea of like who would you want as a guest on this show that has a brawler made? And me, I want Ian Riccaboni because I think broadcasters need more respect, and I think Ian Riccaboni is awesome, and I love watching him skateboard in his free time on Facebook. It's dope. I know, most random thing I could think of. like I love how that shook everyone that I just want Ian Riccaboni. So Ian Riccaboni, if you watch this show, you can hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter. You can email us,
He's a big micro brawler collector.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He's still in the group, right? I believe.
I believe so.
I'm going to check.
Okay. I bought his brawler. What's that?
I have another story that I just thought of.
Oh God.
When you and I went to All Access 2 years ago, Mania weekend.
I know exactly where this is going.
And we were at I don't remember the artist's name, but there was like an artist who drew like all these really cool like WWE artwork. And
Rick Schamberg, does that sound familiar? Right? I think
that
that is right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the kind of artwork they do. And and we were at their table buying some stuff, and all of a sudden Dave taps me on the shoulder and he's like, Mark, look over there. It's Mr. Miz. And it was the Miz's dad. And we were both like how nerdy is it to pop for the Miz's dad? Like
we had to ask the people at the table.
Oh my God.
Like we were like mid-transaction, like, can you hold our stuff for a second? We want to go say hi to someone's dad.
We were afraid he was gonna like walk away and we'd miss him. And the lady running the table was so nice. She was like, "It's okay. I'm gonna hold your stuff here. Go say hi." And we were like, "Oh God, what do we do?" And we just sort of froze for a second. And Dave, like very professional, was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Mizanin, can we take a picture with you?"
George?
He was like, Okay, because everyone's online waiting to meet Ms. and Maurice for like $200 a pop, and we're just there like, can we take a picture with the Mrs. Dad?
Exactly. I don't need the A-listers. I want their parents.
I would have done the same thing.
Like that's the weird, like that's like the stuff that I'm online for. I don't need to meet like the top level stars. I want to meet people that don't have lines. Like Lanny Poffo. We wanted to meet. Love Lanny
I got
Poffo.
to wear his ring.
I told the story, I think it was when we interviewed David Stank, and I was like, yeah, I found out from Lanny Poffo that he hates Slim Jims but loves the royalty checks.
You were wearing that shirt when you met Lanny.
Yes, I was. I
He
was wearing
liked
this
it.
shirt. It was a lot drier back then. Jerk. That's right.
Easy.
Gotta behave. Gotta behave. Because this WrestleMania, I will bring this crown officially home.
Nope. You will not. I'm
Mint
coming
in-
for all 3 of your crowns.
Hey, watch it. Otherwise, Harold's gonna kick all of us off Mania, and it's just gonna be vacant wins this title too, like it's WCW in 2000. But
I'll give
speaking
Harold one of the crowns.
we should get Harold a crown. But so speaking of the mid to early 2000s, there, it's a perfect transition. We not exactly, but I've never been a good, transition segment to segment here. But so we with Margaret on, the idea I had for the topic this week is every one of us here, and I'm sure so many listening and watching are obviously in love with wrestling. Otherwise, how the heck did you get here? But also, we probably all fell out of love at one point of wrestling. Yes, that's right. In case you didn't see, Ryan just held up hard hands and broke them. But so I thought it'd be cool for all of us to talk about how we fell out of love with wrestling and how we managed to fall back into love with wrestling, because love is love. Isn't that romantic? So, Margaret, you are our guest of honor, quote unquote. So we will let you go first. Why don't you tell us first how you fell out of love with wrestling?
I remember exactly how it started. So
Macho Man tried to pin Yokozuna in the Royal Rumble.
No, but what a dumbass. Poor Randy. No, I remember exactly when it was, because it was sometime after WrestleMania 9. And even though people hate so much on wrestling, Ryan, are you taking notes? Are you jotting?
I'm your ghostwriter. Sorry.
He always takes notes. He's the micro brawler scholar.
Is he going to publish my story? Like, am I going to see it in a...
Sure. Well, I'm gonna try and sell this. Anyone want to claim this? Just message me.
That's right. We know the major pod guys can sell like anything, so we want to be just like them. Like we'll sell anything. You want to buy this flag? $50. Cash. Mail me cash like the honky tonk man.
Honky tonky.
Honkin' and tonkin'.
So I know a lot of people hate on WrestleMania 9 because I guess if you look back at it now, like if you had never seen it back then, you would think like, or if you were an adult watching it then, maybe you thought it was garbage. But Dave and I and our sister, we were kids when that aired. Like, what year was that? 93?
1993.
So I was like 11.
Going on 5.
Right. So I was 11 years old. How are you 4? But
4 going on 5.
I'm just saying you were so young. And I just remember you being like older. I don't know why, but
24.
You may as well have been. But anyway, so we were watching that. I remember watching it live as kids, like on pay-per-view, and we were just like, this is the dopest pay-per-view show ever. Like Hulk Hogan showed up, and we didn't get to watch Hulk like too much during the 80s, so it was cool to see him show up and be like, oh my God, Hulk Hogan, like, wow.
That's our biggest Hulkamania like memory.
I remember watching that as kids and just exploding. And we were like, the Hulk is the champ. We were so happy. And then afterwards, that's when a lot of the guys that I loved as wrestlers in back then it was WWF.
Call the Pandas.
They were leaving, like their contracts were ending, and a lot of them went to WCW, and I was not interested in watching WCW because I don't know why. It just
Right.
didn't appeal to me. And after Hogan left, they turned Luger. I almost said Lex Luthor.
I confused you. You sounded like Luthor when you saw me. Sorry.
I was singing Lex Luthor Vandross. I don't know why.
Now there's
That's
a mashup. But they turned Lex Luger face and tried to make him like the new Hulk Hogan, and we're like,
American
"Jeez,
Express, the
the
bus.
Lex Express.
The Lex Express is what it was.
Oh, he was just too all American for me. It was just it was a little too much. And
But he slammed Yokozuna on the aircraft carrier.
Yes,
on
he
the
did.
Intrepid.
in jeans.
Yeah.
In awkward looking mom jeans. But I didn't like how they were trying to tell me like who should be our hero and who should be our big guy. And I was like, I wasn't that into it. I didn't care that much for Lex Luger as a face guy. I liked him better as the narcissist. And I was just really turned off by it. And the guys that I liked were all gone. And I was like, I'm just not here for this. And so I just sort of fell out of it and fell away from it. And Dave was still watching wrestling like forever. And every once in a while, like I'd try to watch some of what he was watching. But by that point, wrestling had kind of devolved, like especially women's matches. Like I was excited to see that women were wrestling, but then it was like the 2-minute matches and the bra and panty matches. And I was like, this is awful. This is disgusting and degrading. And I couldn't bring myself to watch it. And I was like, this is absolutely horrible. What has happened to wrestling? It's such shiitake mushrooms. And yeah, so I stopped watching like in the mid 90s, and I didn't get back into watching it regularly until Ronda Rousey came into wrestling. And what year was that she came out at the Rumble? Was that 2017? 2018? No.
2018, yeah.
Is that it?
But I think we went to TakeOver in 2017, did we?
Who was what was the match or the matches?
The TakeOver we went to had Adam
Ricochet
Cole as the U.S. champion versus Ricochet, I think it was.
Yeah, because Ricochet beat Adam Cole.
It was Ciampa versus Gargano in the last man standing.
Oh my god, that match was awesome.
It was
Man, I
Velveteen
think
Dream.
2018.
Velveteen Dream versus EC3.
Ah, remember EC3 when he was in WWE? I don't want to talk ill of him. I'm afraid he's just going to pop up out of nowhere. That dude's terrifying.
He's friends with Greg. Watch out.
Oh, God.
Yep, they backyarded together a bit. Yep.
Oh, God.
But it was also the first time they did dark matches where they had Bianca Belair versus Deonna Purrazzo, and then they had Petey Dunne versus Zach Gibson for the NXT UK title.
Yes. And Pete Dunne Zach Gibson had a submission on him. And
he
broke it with his teeth.
Hold with his teeth. And I was like, I like that guy. Because he crawled over to the rope and bit it. And they were like, break it. And I was like, this guy here, he's on to something.
He knows a thing.
But yeah, I don't remember what year that was.
I'm pretty certain 2018, because similar to you, 2017 is when I started. So I'll find it. It's 2018.
And I don't
Brooklyn
even.
Ford?
Yeah, that was it. It was Brooklyn Ford when we saw them. And it was because I had started getting back in. And even before that, I started watching like some of the big pay-per-views, when Dave and our sister Kathleen would watch them. Like Royal Rumbles are always fun to watch, and Mania is always a big show, and SummerSlam.
You were there when the streak broke.
I was.
Because you took that picture of me.
Yeah, the most disappointed look on his face. I was like, ooh, he's gonna cry, isn't he?
Came close.
But I don't know why I was so intrigued by Ronda Rousey coming into wrestling, because it's not like I watched her doing many of her. I mean, I knew about her. I guess I was just sort of intrigued to watch somebody kind of start and just see how their career grew in wrestling. And so I remember watching that Rumble where she came out at the end and was like pointing at point, sign pointing season. And I was like, okay. and I watched her first Mania where she wrestled with Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie. And from there, I got kind of hooked into it and started watching that. And Dave turned me on to like different YouTube wrestling channels. And yeah. And then it just sort of picked back up from there. And then we went to NXT TakeOver. So we were supposed to go to an Elias concert of all things. And they canceled it at the last minute because I called the theater and they said that because the concert was going to be in Manhattan and TakeOver was in Brooklyn, and they realized like it's too close and people want to go to TakeOver, so they canceled the concert. And you told me they were like, there's still TakeOver tickets available. And that was it. We went to TakeOver and I was hooked on NXT. Like I was already getting back to Raw and SmackDown, but I was hooked on NXT. That was such a great show. There's that video of me reacting to Ricochet winning the North American Championship.
I would post it, but I don't know if like we have the rights to show that technically. WWE is weird with their videos online. But trust me, she reacts really, really excited. So trust me.
I exploded for Ricochet. But I loved everything I saw that night, and that was it. And I've been very much into it ever since. And it's something that I'm not into any other sports. So, and my family is very sports enthusiastic. And this is something I can bond with Dave and our sister over. And we have so much fun. We go to all kinds of wrestling. Well, we did before COVID, but
we did. Uh-huh.
And we will again. But it was just something we have a lot of fun with. And we watch wrestling together every week. And now I have a whole shelf full of wrestling t-shirts and all kinds of merch. And I have Jim Cornette's autograph over there.
I can't believe I paid for that.
But that's the long and the short of it.
All right. Well, I'm happy you're back in love with wrestling because love is love. So Nick, we'll go on with you. How did you fall out of and back in love with wrestling?
All right. Well, I'm a little bit younger, so
a lot younger, trust me.
The Attitude Era. I was like, when everything Monday Night Wars was going strong, I was in like middle school and like early high school. So I love the Attitude Era. I was the cross-chopping middle schooler, the NWO and Austin 316 and all and stuff. And then, I love WCW, ECW, all that. And then when they all got bought up by Vince and they did the Invasion angle and then that whole thing flopped, I don't know, I just got turned off about it. It just seemed like stupid at that point. And I was coming into an adult and I don't know, I had more important priorities at the time, I guess, as an 18-year-old and stuff. So I kind of stopped watching it. Basically the whole time that when it moved to TNN for all them years, I didn't watch any of that at all and stuff. And I got back, I was sitting the whole time trying to think exactly when I got back in, but it was like right before CM Punk did like the mic drop thing. Like he was
on, yes.
I remember it was like Chris Jericho I'm a huge Jericho fan. I remember flipping through the channels and he was like the world heavyweight champion. And it was when he had like short hair and he would like dress in like the suits and stuff. And I don't know, Jericho pulled me back in and then I became a huge fan of Punk. And then the Daniel Bryan Yes movement and stuff, that all just, I don't know. Then I just started watching it. And then AEW's around now, and now I'm like the biggest fan I've ever been, I would say.
I like it. Ryan, we'll go on with you next, sir.
I need a short break.
You need a short break?
Yeah, restroom break. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
I need to watch my fluid intake.
That's fine. We've got unlimited Zoom. Go for it.
I am not gonna make it very long. Okay.
You should pop up
I'm going to keep that in there and put that. Yes, I'm going to put in that technical difficulty.
Have a little music.
And we're back from the little boys' room to. So now, Ryan, now that you've relieved yourself, you can relieve the tension in your head with your stories of how you fell out of and back in love with wrestling.
Okay, I've got notes, but I started, let's see, I was born in 83. So first grade, met my longtime friend. He got me in the wrestling. So I'd say first grade, the junior high, I was all about it. Junior high, same thing. Like I quit reading comics, wrestling. Then high school, probably found out I wasn't going to get a girlfriend. So I went back to wrestling and, started backyard. I don't know. That's what happened. But backyard wrestling and such, wanted to do it as a career, went to a school for a little bit, found out it was harder than I thought. That's for sure. Yeah, and then I moved away after high school, and I think being separate from my best friend, backyard wrestling friend, kind of my passion went away a little bit. But I was trying to find out. So that was 2002. I lived in Colorado. I went to a Raw and SmackDown with my dad. That was awesome. So I think I fell off shortly, 2003. I quit watching wrestling all the way to 2017. And I've said this on previous podcasts, but I check the website every once in a while, see who was still around. Like Triple H never went away. Booker T stayed in there. I'd see these other guys, like, who's this? Being a critic, who's, is there any good superstars or wrestlers and all that? But I don't quite recall 2017, mid 2017. I don't know. Is it the Young Bucks BTE? Somehow I found out about them. They had that Shawn Michaels, Rock and Roll Express, new age, old type style. So I watching ROH, BTE. Then just like Margaret was saying, is 2017, same time frame, found out about NXT, and they're just, the action and everything. And my wife even liked some matches, so that was cool. And just like Nick said too, I'm more into wrestling than I used to be. I'd say I call it my sport. I'm never gonna leave my sport again. I'm back for good.
I like that. And speaking of NXT is moving to Tuesday on April 13th. So you can get ready for NXT by listening or watching us in the morning and then watching NXT at night. Just make it a whole day event. The Wrestling Nerd broadcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Woohoo!
You can never get enough wrestling commentary.
No, you can't. Not from us. We're number one.
My wife says you can. I try and be a good commentator like Dave. I try and call spots. She's like, call. She's like, I don't know. Yeah, you get the point.
So is it my turn? Am I the only one left for their love story? Because love is love. Yeah. So, like Margaret said, I got into wrestling as a 4-year-old watching. Well, actually, yeah, a very young 4. Because we got SummerSlam 92 from Wembley Stadium, and then we got Royal Rumble 93, and then we got WrestleMania 9, and it just kind of snowballed, and I became this fanatic. And went to my first live show when I was probably 6.
I was in the 6th grade, so you must have been
preschool. So
yeah, you were probably 5 years old.
Yeah. So I was hooked right there. And I watched all throughout elementary school. I had all my friends, we all watched wrestling. We tried to write a wrestling newsletter at one point. We tried to write a Raw newsletter and a Nitro newsletter because you couldn't watch both. So if you needed to know what happened, obviously it's pre-internet era kind of. So you need to know what happened on Nitro? 5 cents, man. You can read our newsletter. This terrible news. I wonder where those are. Those are probably worth some money. Probably on the old Van Court hard drive somewhere.
God. Oh my God. This is so bad.
Before I was hustling on Patreon and Pro Wrestling Tees, I sent out the Raw newsletter. Oh my God, I'm turning into dad.
You are dad. You are Dad Junior. Wait, did anybody ever buy those newsletters?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I think I got some Cheetos back in the day. Shout out to all my early supporters. If you bought a Raw newsletter from me,
God, I can't believe someone bought your Nitro newsletter.
Well, because if you didn't know what happened on a show, there was no way. So come around 2000, 2001, when WCW got bought out or whatnot. So the way it works, for the way me and Margaret when we were in grade school is. There's 5 elementary schools in our school district, and those 5 elementary schools combine to make one middle school of 7th and 8th grade. Well, now it includes 6th grade. But so you got kind of separated from your friends depending on what language you chose to study. So if you took French, like we did, you were on the blue team. If you took Italian, you were on the green team. If you took Spanish, you were on the red team. So you could just be completely separated from kids you knew for the last 6, 7 years because you decide to say "see" instead of "we." Um, but so, like, the friends that I had that I talked about wrestling with, like, we weren't seeing each other much anymore in middle school, so it kind of faded away. Like, I didn't really have anybody to talk wrestling with, so I kind of just lost the interest because I had nothing to, like, it wasn't like watch wrestling, talk to my friends about it. I had friends who were more into like baseball and basketball, and so I got really into sports and like following that more regularly. And so kind of wrestling was put on the back burner. Like, I tried to pay attention at the time, but wasn't all that much familiar with it. And then once I got to high school in 2003 and 4 in that area, I had made 2 friends that watched wrestling that lived down the street from me. They were brothers. And so they told me, like, yeah, the Undertaker's coming back as the dead man. I was like, wait, no, isn't he a biker? And they're like, no, he's messing with Kane and whatnot. And all this. I was like, what? So they invited me over to their house to watch WrestleMania 20. And I was like, first I was like, oh man, it's at the Garden. Be cool if we could go to WrestleMania. One day I'll go to WrestleMania. And then literally, like, the lights go out and you just hear Paul Bear, oh yes. And I'm like, oh, it's like that first injection of the good stuff, man. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that. That first hit. And then the Undertaker comes out in the full dead man gear and the funeral procession song. And I was like, you know what? I'm back. I forget who main evented WrestleMania 20. I probably should look that up. Maybe not. But so I slowly I was kidding, Ryan. I know who main evented WrestleMania 20. Let's not talk about it.
I don't. Who main evented?
Triple H and Shawn Michaels. That's it. Nobody else. Nobody else was in that match. Maybe Earl Hebner was. But yeah, and so after that, I got back. I just started following The Undertaker, and I met all these other characters. I saw John Cena and Batista I liked a lot, and just slowly snowballed back into it. And now here I am co-hosting the Wrestling Nerd broadcast with our own merchandise store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Life can't get any better, because some people used to think wrestling was a waste of time, but now it's becoming a paid hobby, which is just fabulous.
I'm calling it the man-child dream. It's childhood dream, it's just like
the man-child dream has come true.
Yep. The man-child dream. Get the cowbell, Dave.
Do. I'm just a working man.
We're gonna stop before we get flagged.
All right, I'll transition us to Top 3 Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and we have allowed Margaret to not only select our topic, but yes, we let her select the topic for the show and for the Top 3 Tuesday. So she has selected top 3 female wrestling characters you want made into a micro brawler. I'm pretty sure I have one of the same as Margaret, so I'll let her go first. Margaret, who are the top 3 female wrestling characters you want to see made into a micro brawler?
Sensational Sherry. Sensational Sherry.
Cross that off.
And Sensational Sherry. Because there is nobody else. She's literally like the queen. And you could do, what did you call it when they did all those different Macho Mans?
Variants?
Yeah, you could do a lot of, you could do her as like a pre-WWE wrestler. I mean, she wrestled a little in WWE, but like not that much. And even then it was like really sad. Remember when she had to like carry like Sapphire in that mixed match with her and Savage and Dusty? Yeah. And you knew like Sapphire was the only non-wrestler in the match. And of course, Sherry, who's an actual like former champion, is like just taking these awful fake bumps for her. But you could do her as like a wrestler. You could do her as Queen Sherry. You could do her as like Shawn Michaels' girlfriend, that SummerSlam 92 outfit.
Moon over Miami.
But when I was growing up, she was like, you could be 2 people. You could, in wrestling, you could be Sherry or you could be Miss Elizabeth. And Sherry was everything I wanted to be because she was just so rad with her big poofy hair and all the glitter and the sparkles and the makeup and those like outrageous dresses and her bedazzled thong at and her chaps at SummerSlam 92. Like I just loved her and she was my favorite. So I would definitely want to see her. And there doesn't need to be anybody else. But if you want me to pick two more, I would say
Sure.
Miss Elizabeth.
Okay.
Because she's also the queen, like kind of an OG as well. And is there a Luna Vachon brawler? Because that's who I would pick for my third. Because you know what? I know she scared you, Davey.
No, she's on my list though, you jerk.
Yeah, she's on my list too. I thought for sure nobody was gonna pick Luna. I was like, no.
Oh,
I said Luna Vachon Beyonce because like with the veins and whatnot, I try to think of like what would look cool in like an art form. And like David Sankin could have so much fun with those veins and that poofed up hair that looks like, you know what I just realized? John Morrison has Luna Vachon's hair except it's not shaved on the side. If you watch Raw, you know what I'm talking about.
He does have Luna. He has
You can't
like
see it.
soccer mom Luna Vachon hair.
I remember when they did the Pro Wrestling Crate with the women's one, the one that Candice LeRae brawler came in, and Luna was one of the people on it. I remember seeing the thing.
Wasn't Luna the DVD in that, I think?
I can't remember exactly, but I remember
Yeah.
so badly when I seen the list, being like, I want the Luna Vachon brawler. That's what I wanted to be. And that was years ago now.
That's my second crate. Yeah.
So did we all pick Luna?
Yeah, I think
No,
everybody knows.
Did I pick all of yours, Davey?
No, you missed one.
Who's your one?
The number one. The real queen, Charlotte Flair. I want me a Charlotte Flair brawler because I love Charlotte Flair. She is the best.
Did anybody see?
But I would also take. What's
put
that?
out today that they had released her. I think it was an April Fool's joke.
Oh,
but
jeez.
The WWE social media came out today, like come to release with Charlotte Flair.
I mean, who knows what's real there? I've heard they've released her. I've heard she's pregnant. You know, all sorts of things. Yeah, I'll tell you later. No. But seriously, like that was like a thing that like kept her off TV or whatnot. But yeah. So
here I thought it was COVID.
Yeah. I had Sensational Sherry, Charlotte, Luna Vachon. I also, once you picked Sherry, I went like, oh, I'll go with Miss Elizabeth. No, but you know what? I have thought of another one. Thunder Rosa would be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty awesome.
Sorry, Nick.
It's all right. I'm coming up with more on the fly.
We have to have Brian go and see if Nick whittles that list down anymore.
Yes. So, Ryan, why don't you give us your top 3 Tuesday?
Let's keep an eye on Nick. One.
Nick's gonna be like Linda McMahon.
For those of you listening, we'll let you know if Nick crosses any off.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you got?
I think I'm safe. I think Chelsea Green's due for an upgrade. You know, her current look.
So she can face herself in the Micro Madness.
Yeah. And then instantly, yeah. And then right after that, Bertha Faye came right into my brain. I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, are we talking like how WWE did Bertha Faye? Like when she like had all that wacky, like she was trailer trash or whatnot?
That's only one I know with the.
Okay. So I know she was like a legit like wrestler outside of WWE. And then they're like, hey, how can we make her look like a cartoon?
Yeah. I used to like her. I mean, the pigtails and then my third one, more serious one, Hana Kimura, you know, kind of a memorial to benefit charity and such.
That's a good one. I like
I'd support that one for sure. Yeah.
I think we all would.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Nick, what do you got left on your list?
All right. Well,
I'd like to see my wife as a brawler.
Yeah, I would have to say Lita. Lita would be a good one. I'm surprised I haven't even done her yet. Awesome Kong. I think that would translate well into a brawler. And because we don't have enough ECW brawlers yet, what about a Francine?
Ooh, I like that.
Nice.
I just thought of another one. Aja Kong. You can do that with like the different face paint.
Or,
I don't know if she
Bull
paints her face.
Nakano.
Yeah.
Oh,
Medusa or
Yeah,
Alondra
Medusa,
Blaze,
that's
whatever
a
you
great
call her.
one.
Can't go
What's
wrong
her
with any
name?
of those ladies. So, but yes, let us know your top 3 Tuesday of female wrestling characters you want to see made into micro brawlers. And like we said, don't forget to like us on Facebook, WNRDB. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WNRDB. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store. Hopefully it's up by the time this video goes up. Check out, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can listen to us again on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And of course, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/WNRDB. Margaret, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
oh, I wish I did. But someday my band will play again. Someday we'll have live music again.
Wow.
Although we are going to start rehearsing outside again. So if you live in the Brewster area, just drive by
and roll the window down.
see if you can hear a band play.
So yeah, that's all our plugs. Patreon, Pro Wrestling Tees, Facebook, Twitter. Don't forget to like us, like this video, share with your friends. Don't forget to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Is that a thing? I think, right? Do you subscribe on podcast? Okay.
You can follow on Spotify.
We're still trying to figure this out, folks. We're still new to all this technology. I'm sorry if like the podcast episodes aren't in order. I don't know how to fix that, but yeah. So yeah, major shout out to Gregory Iron and David Stankin for coming on for our Micro Brawler anniversary interviews. That was a lot of fun. And of course, make sure you subscribe to this channel because you will see our WrestleMania predictions in a few short days. WrestleMania is this weekend. And I will officially become the first ever King of the Nerds. There can only be one, and you're looking at him, ladies and gentlemen.
There will be no king because you will bow down to the queen.